Welcome into Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Gavin Shaw. The handsome man to my left is Eliav Gabai. ASU football played their spring game last weekend, and Eliav, I'm not happy about it. Spring games are a waste of time. The fans don't like them. The players don't like them. I have pride in the fact that on this show, there are no pointless run-throughs. We don't have to talk about practice. We don't scrimmage. When we play for real.
Yeah,
we play
Gavin,
for keeps.
Gavin,
Gavin. What?
We just did a full run-through, and we wrote a full script.
There's literally no way they could have done that.
First rule of journalism, Gavin, transparency.
All right, Walter Cronkite.
Oh, God.
Though the game itself was meaningless, there were a lot of insights to be gleaned for those who could keep their eyes open. Manny Wilkins with a deft touch on his passes outplayed Blake Barnett, who tried to show off his rocket of an arm every play. Kalen Ballage finally looks ready to harness his ridiculous physical gifts, and a secondary that was worse than the country the past two seasons looked good against backups. Those are opinions. John Humphrey's dominance was a fact. The Oklahoma transfer showed off his trademark speed on his way to a game-high 3 touchdowns. Eliav Gabai was in Tempe post-game to catch up with him, his quarterback, and head coach.
It's football, you know, it's going to be fun no matter what. But yeah, having the fans come out and people supporting us, it's exciting because we've been working our butts off all spring. So I have some guys, some fans come out and watch us, and being somewhat of a game scenario, it's really exciting.
We've improved every single day defense. I mean, the good thing is that we're very similar. It wasn't a big wholesale change for our players because philosophically, I learned from Coach. About 30 years ago, I think, something like that. But yeah, he's been unbelievable. The defense has been impressive all spring long, the one defense, and we got to continue to develop depth and continue to get better. But I've been very, very pleased. I'm not surprised. I knew exactly what I was getting with Coach Bennett.
We want to win. We want to win. It's just we just came here for a purpose, and the purpose is to just change the culture of what people think of Arizona State. Like, we want to become a powerhouse. And so, we just came here with that mindset, and we're working on it.
All right, I'm Austin Burnett here with Chaz Fraser. Chaz, is it safe to say it's football season yet?
Almost. We got a little treat last Saturday with the spring game, but we're going to have to wait until the fall. I know there was a lot brewing up there in Tempe, a quarterback position, the battle, it's on and cracking right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Blake Barnett and Manny Wilkins, Dylan Sterling Cole. Who's your favorite right now?
I don't know, walking away from not yesterday, but last Saturday rather, I think Manny Wilkins really had the edge. He really stood in the pocket well and just was hitting all of his targets right on the money. But I guess what they say, they say ball don't lie in basketball, but film don't lie in football either.
Yeah, coaches say film don't lie, so let's go right to the film here. All right, we have Manny Wilkins with a nice little ball fake there. Now you see right here, it's going to be man coverage. You have the corner playing right on the receiver there, but he's going to go to the opposite side, and he finds John Humphrey has a good recognition on man coverage. Now, right here, the defensive linemen, they're playing their Okie technique. They're just trying to control the defensive line, and it's going to be a zone coverage there in the secondary. It's a nice find there. Now we have Blake Barnett. It's going to be man coverage once again on the outside right there by John Humphrey. It's great, fantastic over-the-shoulder catch. Great athletic play by him. He had 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns on Saturday.
Wow.
So we're going to go back to man coverage here once again. We have Brady White in at quarterback. We're going to see him drop a nice, beautiful dime right here to who else? John Humphrey.
That's
he's
nice.
He's going to be one of my players to watch this year. But it was a beautiful drop dime by Brady White. Now here we have 10-yard separation between Maurice Chandler and the line of scrimmage, so it's going to be cover 4.
Okay.
Now we're going to see how Dylan Sterling Cole reacts here to the cover 4. So Dylan Sterling Cole, he's going to roll out to the left, recognizes that the cover 4, the corners drop back into coverage, was able to find the receiver there on a nice little curl route right there. Great recognition by Dylan Sterling Cole. Now, Blake Barnett, watch this play. This is going to be great. Blake Barnett, he's been known for his arm, his cannon for an arm, but he goes through his progressions, can't find anybody, calls his own number, takes it in for 6.
Trying to impersonate his own little Manny Wilkins right there, getting it done with his feet.
Looks pretty good doing it, too.
Absolutely. There's a lot of options for this quarterback position. I know it's going to be tough going in the fall, but there's one thing that's certain. These quarterback, whoever wins the spot, they have a deep receiving core to pass through. If we just take a look at this graphic right here, N'Keal Harry, Ryan Newsome, John John Humphrey and Jalen Harvey. I think N'Keal Harry is really going to lead this pack, Austin. He had about 58 receptions for 659 yards last year and 5 receiving touchdowns. Big prototype physical body, about 6'5". We saw him make those one-handed snags. He's going to be nasty, future NFL prospect right there. But these other three, that was the storyline all throughout spring practice. These three had a great spring practice. They showed during the spring game last week. We saw this guy, John Humphrey. I'm telling you, Austin, he has blazing speed. It was recorded that he ran 140. There was like a 4.2, so it was just absolutely blazing.
Looks a little bit like my 40 time. I'm not going to run 40.
I got to see that to believe it. But yeah, so this is going to be a great crew to watch. Look out for John Humphrey, like you said, 4 catches. But they wrapped it up strong in spring ball. That's all for us here at the Monitor. For Austin Burnett, I'm Chaz Frazier. Back to you guys at the desk.
From the football field to the lacrosse field we go, and joining me now is Sun Devil lacrosse expert Nick Sheehy. Nick, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, ASU beat U of A 14-6 last week. What was your biggest takeaway from that matchup?
Well, my biggest takeaway from that matchup is just the depth that ASU showed. 9 different players scored a goal in that game, and head coach Todd McRobbie also played every single midfield on the roster. So when you look at those 9 goals, one of those goals was scored by Trevor Driscoll. He went 77% facing off. So that's always a winning recipe when you could play make it, take it lacrosse.
Of course. Now, you mentioned Trevor Driscoll. He's been solid. Jake Martins has been a beast all season. Johnny Perliti, between the pipes, a brick wall. Now, who has impressed you most down the stretch of the season going into the SLC tournament?
Well, down the stretch, someone who's really impressed me is junior Ryan Bradway. The first half of the season, he put up 4 goals, 6 assists. The second half of the season, he put up 9 goals, 10 assists. That's almost double his production. I asked head coach Todd McRobbie about him, and he said, hey, Ryan Bradway, he was a transfer. It took him some time to get adjusted to the offense, but once he really found his role, he's really developed to be one of the best passers on the team.
Now, next week, ASU is going to take on the MCLA defending champion in Chapman. All right, they're the first seed. Man, it's going to be tough for them. What do they need to focus on in order to beat Chapman?
Well, Chapman's the first seed in the SLC largely due to their attack unit of Dylan Gardner, Steve Coruscant, and Reagan Kelly. Each of these guys individually have put up 20-plus goals.
Wow.
So that Sun Devil defensive unit of Nathan Blair, and Johnny Perliti, they need to be communicating. I think the most important thing for this team heading into that game is to try and get the ball out of the attack unit's sticks and to force Chapman's middies to dodge and shoot for unassisted goals.
Well, as I mentioned already, Chapman is going to be next week since USC canceled. ASU is going to play Chapman next week. It's going to be a tough one, but thanks so much, Nick. And if you want to see more of Nick Sheehy's content, check out cronkitesports.com.
At just 16-19, ASU baseball has been something of a disappointment this season, but there are reasons for optimism. But don't take it from me, take it from the man who knows best. Our own Rob Warner was in Tempe for a Sun Devil sit-down with Tracy Smith.
And in terms of being head coach, how do you kind of keep things light and still kind of fun for yourself and fun for the team when you're going through some of the struggles this team has gone through?
Well, now that I'm in my 20-something, 22nd, 20, I don't know what it was, 22nd year as a head coach, seeing a lot, and I'll even, reference again this year, we're having a very, very difficult year. I've been there before, and I understand some of the things, the nuances that come with a difficult year, and it's not fun when you're losing. I don't think anybody down in that locker room would say it's fun, but you've got to band together. That's the only way that you come out of this. So being able to draw upon those experiences of having been there, done that, I think is very helpful. It also gives you strength and confidence to know you're going to come out on the other side, because when I was a younger coach and going through some of this, I would be lying to you if I said there wasn't some of that. Okay, is this working? Are we going to get through this? But then when you're sitting in Omaha, and you're looking at some of the great coaches at a press conference and say, you know what, the system works. It gives you great confidence in that. It's been a while since we've kind of had to go through one of these years, but you know what? It doesn't change in how you act and interact and being respectful and giving your best effort every day, because that's what we're asking out of the kids. Even though the results aren't, and the wins and losses what we want, you still need to take a mature approach on that.
You can catch that full sit-down interview on the Cronkite Sports YouTube page. Let's transition to my favorite segment, Sun Devil Social Media, with social media guru, wizard, what have you, Braden Bell. What's up,
young
man?
Harry Potter right here.
Eliab, Gavin,
Thank you for inviting me back on. I don't know if it was really your choice, but here I am.
I argued against you,
You got to
actually.
deal with me now. Here we are. All right, but we have some tweets today kind of throwing shade at each other this week. I don't know what it was around the Valley. People are in not the best mood. First one is Shannon Evans kind of getting roasted here. Someone said, if there was a day Shannon Evans did not post a live video to Instagram, the world must have stopped spinning. My question to you guys is, if there was one guy in WCSN that you had to follow around with a camera for a week or maybe just a day, who would it be and why?
I'm gonna go first on this. It'd be Gavin. I mean, think about the awkward jokes, the weird humor. It'd be a good time.
I'm certainly a weirdo, Elliot, but I would go for an alumnus in WCSN's own Nick Wixman. The guy has his own site where he makes and sells candles. There's others. He's a great beard, but do we really need to go past the candles? That's incredible.
The candles take the cake for me. All right, let's go to number 2 now. And number 2 refers back to a football player, Demario Richard. Kind of sad story here. He apparently asked Keyshawn Johnson for an autograph one time. Keyshawn said, "Nah, I'm good."
Oh, gosh.
All right, I have a very similar story, and this is the only time in my life I can say I have something in common with Demario Richard. I'm at a Suns game. Me and a friend go up to Kawhi Leonard after, and Kawhi, incredible player, not the most personal fellow.
He's a robot.
And so we go up, and my friend asks Kawhi, "Can I take a picture with you?"
Yeah.
Kawhi immediately says no, as all Spurs robots have been trained to say. My friend takes a picture with him anyways. Kawhi is expressionless, no blinking, no noise, doesn't protest, and then just walks away.
Savage season in the desert. I love that story. All right, third and final tweet. Paula Bolvin, a Cronkite professor, actually tweeted out that she was disappointed that the NCAA tournament won't be returning to the Valley until at least 2023. Head coach Charlie Turner-Thorne, though, responded and said, "Hey, we plan on hosting the first and second round every single year."
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah. Put the fire emojis next to that one. That was a great tweet.
You gotta love that. You want to see that recruiting players. If you see their coach CTT saying, "No, we're gonna have it every year," you gotta love that.
CTT. That is your acronym. I say this was BAD. Bad segment, but it's kind of my fault.
Wow. Okay, well,
I couldn't spell, so I'm glad you told me what that was. All right, Braden, we really appreciate you coming on, and I know you're a big fan of the Pac-12 across all sports.
It's the Conference of Champions. Yes.
And perhaps no sport is more deserving of that moniker than ASU softball and Pac-12 softball in general. With 3 teams in the top 10, 5 in the top 25, there are no truck stops here. Paige Burnell has more with Impact.
The season might be halfway over, but the challenges for the Sun Devil softball team have just begun. The team sits in 6th place in the Pac-12 with its 5-7 record. UCLA has the same 5 wins and 7 losses, but it sits in 5th place as the Bruins have 4 more wins overall. However, this could all change if the Sun Devils can win more times against their opponent this weekend, the 2nd place Utah Utes, than UCLA wins versus 8th place Cal. ASU has its work cut out for them, as Utah has not only been victorious in 10 of its last 13 games, but is coming off of 2 wins against the 1st place team in the Pac-12, the Arizona Wildcats. ASU's head coach Tricia Ford says that the winner of this 3-game series will be the team that takes advantage of the defensive mistakes that occur within each game. She has not decided who will start on the mound, but expect to see plenty of appearances by junior pitchers Dale Rendak and Brianna Maha as to limit the defensive miscues ASU will make. This is the first time they will play tonight, and I will be there to cover the action. To see that and to keep up with all their updates throughout the weekend, please visit cronkitesports.com. Now, back to you gentlemen at the desk.
For those of you wondering, the ice is yet to melt in the desert, and ASU hockey has a new crop of incoming talent. Here's WCSN hockey reporter Nick Batters with more on ASU's top 15 recruiting class.
In their first full season at the NCAA level, the Arizona State Sun Devils finished with a record of 10-19-3. Their roster from last season of 26 players featured 19 underclassmen, so the team is headed in the right direction. This year, Greg Powers and co. were able to bring in even more talented recruits for the 2017-18 season, good enough to produce a recruiting class ranked 12th in the country by NeutralZone.net. Let's break it all down. First, a name that every hockey fan should know, Lemieux. Austin Lemieux, the son of Hockey Hall of Famer and Pittsburgh Penguins owner Mario Lemieux, will join the team as a right wing. In 45 games for the Islanders Hockey Club in the 2016-17 season, Austin was the USPHL's regular season leader in points and assists. Next, we'll look at the defenseman who arguably headlines this recruiting class. Patrick Kudla was drafted in the 6th round of the 2016 NHL draft by the Arizona Coyotes, 158th overall. NeutralZone.net ranks him as the second best recruit in the country from the 1996 birth class, one of only 4 players the site gave a 4.5-star rating to. The team also brings in 2 more top 50 recruits from the 1996 birth year in Tyler Maltby and Johnny Walker. Maltby led the AJHL in goals scored this season and is ranked number 41 in his birth year. He is the 4th highest ranked player from the AJHL at a star rating of 3.75. Walker, the 6-foot forward, hails from Phoenix, which will make him the 3rd Arizona native on the roster. Now we'll move from the heart of the valley in North America to the Baltic and Northern Europe, where Arizona State brought in 2 recruits from Latvia. Vito Janssens led all NAHL defensemen in goals scored with 19 and ranked 3rd overall in points with 46, playing 5 less games than the 2 players ahead of him. Janssens also played for Team Latvia at the 2016 World Junior Championships. Phils Bunsis, the only center from the class, stands at 6'3" and played with Janssens on that Latvian junior team. He wore a letter for them and was the captain of the NAHL's Johnstown Tomahawks, bringing an immediate leadership presence to Arizona State's young team. Also joining the Sun Devils at Oceanside Ice Arena in the fall will be defenseman Jacob Wilson, along with forwards Dominic Garcia and Gage Huff. Wilson has been committed to ASU since June of 2015, and Garcia is another recruit with captain experience. He also played youth hockey with current Sun Devil Joey Ratz. Huff transfers to ASU after 3 years at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, where he scored 6 goals in 40 games, and will surely provide leadership at ASU as one of the few experienced upperclassmen on the team. Looking at the recruiting class that has an average star rating of 3.86, Arizona State brought in a wide range of talent, including an NHL draft pick, the son of a Hall of Famer, 2 Latvians, a local product, and a transfer from an East Coast powerhouse. With the program growing each year, hockey in the desert is starting to heat up, and the Sun Devils are paving the path for college hockey on the West Coast. Now, we just have to wait for the season to start up in October.
ASU hockey's schedule also released today. They will have 16 series, 8 games against 4 top 10 opponents, including Quinnipiac, Boston University, and Penn State at home. Their first exhibition matchup will be on October 1st against NAIT.
We spend a lot of time discussing the Manny Wilkins and Torian Grahams of the world, but there are few ASU athletes as accomplished and simultaneously underappreciated as Maggie Ewan. Ewan made history March 17th, already in possession of both the ASU and Pac-12 records. She decided to go national, breaking the all-time collegiate mark with a hammer throw of a ridiculous 72.71 meters. Seriously, who uses the metric system? Ewan followed that up with a dominant performance in the Sun Angel Classic with 3 top 2 finishes. This weekend, she takes her show on the road when the Sun Devils take on UCLA. If a flying metal sphere just happens to take out the Hollywood sign, it's probably not a UFO. It's Maggie Ewan doing what she does best.
ASU junior triathlete Katie Korchiza has been named U23 Women's Triathlete of the Year. She led Arizona State to its first triathlon national championship in as many years of existence. Internationally, she was no slouch. She won the Sprint Triathlon American Cup in Bridgetown, Barbados, and was the top American finisher in the U23 World Championship in Cozumel, Mexico. It doesn't stop there for ASU, as Arizona State will host the 2017 Triathlon Collegiate National Championship on November 5th.
And now we go to my favorite segment, Eliav. I know you called social media yours. This one's mine, the way it is. And I think it's because I always win. That might be it. Anyways,
okay.
I throw 3 questions your way, you throw 3 slightly less clever questions my way, and we decide on the inevitable. Talking about bad, shout out to Braden Bell. We're going to go with ASU football here. Their defensive backfield, the worst in the country the last 2 seasons in terms of passing yards given up. Can they improve?
Listen, when you're the worst, how hard is it to improve? I know we said that last year, but really, I think they'll be better. Christian Sam is healthy, that's big, and I really think they'll improve. Now, staying on the football field, we saw in the spring scrimmage, Manny Wilkins, Blake Barnett, both out there. Who has the edge in your opinion?
Well, I made my opinions on spring games clear. I don't think there's all that much to learn from them. That being said, Manny Wilkins simply threw a better ball. His passes were on target, and most importantly, they had touch. It seemed like Blake Barnett wanted to show off his monster arm every single time he threw it, and a lot of times it was just an uncatchable football, and I simply don't know how sustainable that is. Let's switch to a less meaningful sport. Lacrosse going up against Chapman in the SLC tournament, defending champion. Can they pull off a victory?
Man, I don't know. Chapman's defense is really, really tough, and even though ASU's hot, I think it's just going to be too much for the Sun Devils to handle. Now, tomorrow, women's tennis, the Territorial Cup. Will they win it?
I think they have a good chance. I love the way ASU tennis has been playing of late. They've won 5 of their last 6, 4 of their 5 ranked opponents on the year. They've beaten in that winning streak. And Arizona isn't a ranked team. They've struggled in Pac-12 play. They've had issues when they've lost doubles. I trust Nicole Fossa-Huergo. I trust Alex Osborne. I think that duo is going to get it done early. All right, tough one for you, Eliab. If you had to put a non-aquatic athlete in the pool, one game to win, as a goalie for water polo, who would you pick and why?
I'm going to go with ASU basketball senior Obina Oleka.
I like it.
He's tall, he's long, he's athletic. You put him between the pipes in the pool, man, he's going to give you some results.
It's all about that wingspan.
Oh, of course. Now, listen, disclaimer, you won't have a chance against either of these young gentlemen.
That's an insult. Let's go ahead.
I'm sorry, but who do you think you'd have a higher chance against in arm wrestling? Zahid Valencia or Kalen Balaj?
You know what, I'm going to tell you this, Eliab. Kalen Balaj, physical freak. We all know that. 6'2", like 230. What does he run, like a 3.840? I don't even know.
He's a monster.
But he doesn't bring it every game. We saw him break the national touchdown record against Texas Tech. And then I don't think he got that many touchdowns the rest of the season. Zahid Valencia lost one match all of last year. He brings it time and time again. I think I could catch Kalen Balaj sleeping, get him with one of these real quick. Then maybe I win. Maybe I pull off the upset.
Maybe.
Do you believe in miracles, Eliab Goodbye?
You know what? Yes. So maybe you can.
All right. Now, speaking of miracles, we're going to see who comes up there. Let's
Give
see
me
if
the miracle. Give me my miracle.
Oh, I love it. The stupid picture. I'm in Germany. It's great.
Oh man.
All right. So I could give you guys 40 seconds of lukewarm takes on why the spring game sucks or why Sophie Bruner is the GOAT. But as we wind down the semester, and less significantly my 4 years at ASU, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who helped this show exist. We started off in a classroom 4 years ago with nothing but an idea for what this thing could be, and people gave up their free time to build a show, and beyond that, an infrastructure that could function without them. This show doesn't happen without producers sacrificing every week, Ben, Troy, Terrace, spending nights in edit bays, without underclassmen giving up their Fridays to stand behind a camera for 2 hours and watch me act like an idiot. This show doesn't function without sacrifice. I can't thank everyone enough who's so consistently willing to make it, and that's simply the way it is.
That was beautiful. Gavin, let's go into top plays. We're going to do the 10 best plays of the year, and it starts with these 5 dingers from ASU softball. My God, we're going to do the top 5 this week, and then the top 5 next week.
I don't even know if we can count that high, Elliot.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, so we're going to go down. Number 9, it looks like Lacrosse. We had him last week. Patrick Haviland, have yourself a goal. No look. Under his shoes, scraping the grass. I wish we had a better camera angle on that, but that was pretty cool.
That was gorgeous. Number 8. Oh, gosh. Here we go. Cody Just, a 3-pointer versus USC. You see it there. Clutch as ever. You see him dishing it out. He's fallen away. Knock it down. Young fella, or should I say old fella, he's going to be a senior. Oh, my God. That was pretty. He's pumped.
There is justice in the world. Eliab, goodbye. ASU hockey. Tyler Bush, game-winning goal against the Ohio State, pulling off the upset. Tyler Bush, at one point in his career, an OSU commit, decided to come to Tempe again. People were questioning it. OSU, a hockey powerhouse. Bush living up to his commitment. What a shot.
Wow, that was some clutch stuff right there. 6-1, last one for the day. Oh, we know what's coming, Gavin. We know what's coming. Manny Wilkins.
Oh, don't do him like that,
down
Manny.
the way.
Don't do it.
Oh my
Expose
God, it's
him.
a hurdle. It's a hurdle.
Expose him.
You saw it coming. We all did, and there it is. I hope he doesn't keep doing that this year because he's gonna get wrecked.
It's incredibly risky. You only get like a yard or two. It's like if you're a fan of the advanced metrics and playing the game the right way, like I am, don't pull that BS, Manny. But it's so cool when he does it.
Yeah, I mean, being the football player that Gavin is, I mean, it's so impressive.
I played 1 week of high school football, and I was good. I was good.
Gavin, on a serious note, I'd like to thank you for your commitment to WCSN, Cronkite Sports Live. It's someone I look up to.
Because I'm taller than you.
Oh, well, there you go. I was going to be nice.
Yeah,
I know.
I couldn't handle any more of it. I didn't like it.
Well, for the last time, that's Gavin Shaw. I'm Eliab Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us for Cronkite Sports Live. We'll see you next time. For everything else, Cronkite Sports, check out cronkitesports.com.